is Phoenix 98 FM. 98 FM.
All right, we're coming to our guest, John. Our wonderful guest, the fantastic, the one and only Paul CARRACK. Are you there?
Steady on, Keith. I mean, hard to live up to that build-up, I'll tell you, but I'll do my best.
Oh, mate, no, honestly, you don't have to do nothing like that, mate. I mean, honestly, I was looking you up, Paul, in a matter of speaking, and I just cannot believe you just got to be one of the busiest, or the busiest musician that this country's ever made. I've never known so many people that you've actually played with and helped along the way. Great names.
It is pretty bizarre when you look at it like that on paper. You know, I can't believe it myself, really, because I'd no right to expect to do all this. You know, I mean, I just started out as a young lad up in Sheffield. I didn't know anybody. I taught myself out of a few chords, and managed to make a career. It's unbelievable, really, but fantastic.
Oh, John, and also, John, you just think the world of him. I mean, John Summerton's here with my partner in crime here, and we were just going through things. I mean, you'd be like the Bill Gates in the way of money if you could earn off every cover band out there that does your song. Really, John?
Well, I've been doing how long? Since '76. But I didn't realise you played with Roxy Music. I must have missed that. I don't know how I missed that at all. But how long was you doing that for?
Not long. I mean, I played on a couple of albums, Manifesto and Flesh and Blood, and there was a few tracks that spilled over onto Avalon, and this would be about 1979, I believe. And no, I was sort of brought along because when Roxy kind of reformed, Brian Ferry, he'd already been doing sort of solo stuff, using a different set of musicians altogether. He was using kind of session guys. And I was hanging out with these guys because I was wanting to improve as a musician. And I thought that was the way to do it. That the best players I knew, that's what they were doing. They were doing sessions. Guys like Alan Spencer on bass and Neil Hubbard, you know, in the Grease band, with Joe Cocker and all that.
Wow.
And I was hanging out with them, and they kind of rolled me in on it because they had been working on Brian Ferry's solo stuff, and he insisted on having some of these guys do the Roxy thing. So I did some of these recording sessions, and then they asked me if I fancied going out on the road.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'd never done anything like that because they were sort of glam rock, weren't they? And all that.
Oh yeah.
We'd never done, and we were usually all anti all that stuff. You know, we were scruffy, boring old kids.
Double denim.
Exactly. And we were a bit sniffy about all that sort of stuff, but we'd no right to be. But anyway, I went out on the road, and it was great. I had a great time. It was, across Europe they were huge, and Brian was a real star.
Yeah.
And it was great fun, actually. I enjoyed it.
A friend of mine actually got involved with Dear Brian and on the jazz, and the trumpet player that played with my father. He actually toured with him when he done the jazz. Yeah, did with him.
Oh yeah, that was. He did some nice things there.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's but it's gone off my head. I'm having an old moment at the moment.
So Noel Coward. Stuff and things like that. Yeah. It was always very difficult to sing harmony with Brian, though, and then I suddenly cracked it. I realised you had to go. plenty of vibrato on there, and then it was all right,
Slide up to the note.
Well, you're the history. I mean, you were like with Squeeze, weren't you? You were Squeeze for about 3 times, weren't you?
Well, that was kind of the next thing after Roxy. Yeah. I mean, you mentioned Ace there at the beginning. That was
mate.
We had the big old hit. And we never followed it up. So we'd been over in America. We came back sort of 78, something like that. And the whole thing had changed. It was all
because it was massive over there, wasn't it? The US with Ace.
It was a huge hit. That was a huge hit.
So what was that like in the 70s, going over there, actually with a top hit?
Well, it was pretty mind-blowing, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have done with... it's a shame we didn't sort of go over there before we had some success and, and feel it out and played some clubs and that sort of stuff. But we were straight in, with this big old hit. And we actually we toured for 3 months. This is our initiation to America. We toured for 3 months, opening up for Yes in the arenas, 20,000 people.
Wow.
And we were these scruffy Herberts who were used to playing at the open anchor, and we had no show whatsoever, but we got away with it because I think it was such a big old hit, that one.
Oh, definitely. And then when you come back to the UK, was that...
It all changed, we'd kind of fizzled out. We never followed up the big hit, and it was all new wave and punk and all that. And I actually thought, well, that's it. I'm done. Because I was exactly the kind of guy they were hating, So I figured then I'd just keep my head down and as I say, try and work on, get sessions and learn from these guys, because that's the only way I've ever learned. Yeah.
So do you read music at all?
No.
You don't. No. As I said to Keith earlier about people that read music. I mean, obviously you do if it's your day job, and you do need to read the dots. I mean, I don't.
Out of us three, then I'm the clever one.
Yeah, I don't read. But
I read drum music.
I get it. Having a recording studio, I've had people that read music come in and you try to get them to improvise and just change it off scale, off piece a bit, and they can't get it. They've got to read the music. Right. And
I wish I did have more. I mean, I would have loved to have learned, piano and all that when I was a kid. I was really up for that, but there was no chance. I mean, we had a little shop that sold paint, and we lived in the room at the back. Yeah. And I'm going to go Monty Python on you now and say, it was the outside toilet and there's no bath and no heating and 2 bedrooms. So it just wasn't
luxury. I used to live in a paper bag.
Is the shop still there?
Yeah, it is. Actually, my brother. Well, he just retired last year. He's 4 years older than me, right. And so, quick story is that my dad was a painter and decorator. My mum ran the shop. We lived at the back of the shop, and. But unfortunately, my father had an accident at work, and it was fatal. He didn't make it. Oh, damn. So I was 11, my brother was 15, and my brother just grew up overnight, and he took on that shop.
Wow.
And he was there till a year ago.
Oh, really?
He retired at over 70.
Wow. Yeah. And it still is a shop now. Has it been taken over?
Well, it's been taken over by the guy who used to work with him, and he still kept the name on actually.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic! I would say
it's a pity I can't sell my name on. Have some young bloke going around as Paul CARRACK. It'd be great.
The thing is, with this year though, Paul, it's been so difficult. With live performances, as we all know, and that's where we earn our money. We don't earn money out of records anymore, and
that's right.
and stuff like that. So, being a touring musician, that is your bread and butter, and it has completely changed everything. So I noticed on your website that you're back out in April. Is that still going ahead?
Well, who knows, mate? I mean, probably unlikely. Yeah. I think we. And like you say, we had a whole year of work lined up last year.
Yeah. You've done the Palladium. I think you were one of the last bands to do the Palladium, weren't you?
We finished up at the Palladium. Yeah. That was our. We still had 6 gigs to go on that tour. We'd done about 30. Yeah. But finished up at the Palladium. It was a fantastic night, by the way. I mean, it's the best London gig I think I've ever done, because I don't know, people were just sensing that it was going to all get shut down, and they were just mad for it. It was great.
Well, we just about got the Royal Marsden gig in, the O2 charity gig, because that was touch and go. That just about scraped in, but there were some fantastic eyes. I mean, Cat, obviously yourself, and but I've never seen Cat Stevens live before, and he was amazing.
Eric was great. Eric was great.
Oh, Eric was fantastic. Yeah, they was all.
And Tom, of course.
Yeah,
Tom Jones.
and Ian Pace on the drums. It was just a magical night. It was an unbelievable evening, and raised a lot of money. So going onto your single, the recording of it, I noticed that on the video you're playing everything, and obviously, did you? I'm from the technical side because I've got a studio and I'm blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Did you start off with a click track and just a basic acoustic guitar, then build it up, or did you do it another way?
There is no way. It just happened. It just evolves. I mean, I've got my little studio here, and I very rarely come in with an idea and say, I'm going to write a song about this, that, or the other. I just come in here, start messing about. I might put a little drum groove down or something, and to play to, and I'll just start jamming, and I'll probably sing something off the top of my head, and I go back and I think, oh, that's maybe something. So you start with a little nugget, and then you might stick a harmony on it and think, oh, that might work, and gradually build it up. But it's a painstaking way of doing it, because it's not like methodical. It's not like I've got a plan, and it literally is. I might say I start with a piano and a vocal, and I build that up, and then I'll put some bass on or something, and guitar. And as you're going along, it's like, no, I've got to change that now, because I was playing too much there. So, and you try and make it like a band sound, but I've done it a lot in the past, doing that myself. But I always swore I'd never do it again, because it seems like a great idea at the beginning, and
there's no choice. There's no choice.
In about half an hour, you got something that sounds half good.
Yeah. The single's fantastic.
I'll tell you one thing, John. Shall we play this single and then come back to Paul?
Cool.
Is it all right if we play your single, Paul?
And then we'll come back.
I don't know. It's totally secret. I don't want anybody to know about it.
Well, this is Paul Carrack and his new single, You're Not Alone.
A shoulder you can cry on. I'll be there to wipe your tears away. When it takes someone you can rely on, you can call me any time of day. When no one else will listen, I'll hang on every word till you realize there's someone who really cares. When you need someone who'll always love you, you're not alone. You're not alone. When you're lost and stumbling in the darkness, I'll be there to shed a little light. When it seems the whole world is against you, I'll be in your corner for a fight. Others might desert you, friends may turn away. I'll be there to help you every step along the way. 'Cause as long as I'm around to help you, you're not alone. You're not alone. Better times are coming just around the bend. We'll be together once again. One day soon, the tide's gonna turn. The flame of love will forever you're not alone.
It's so good. That's so lovely, Paul.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
I love that. I mean, I was just saying to John earlier on, I mean, there's not a song that you haven't written where it's the story in the lyrics are fantastic.
Oh, thanks, mate.
Eyes
really
of
mean
Eyes of
it,
Blue.
mate. Eyes of Blue.
Eyes of
I
Blue
mean,
is a favourite of mine.
my granddaughters and things like that, you think of people like with, you know, the beautiful blue eye, and that song comes, it just cracks you up.
Well,
It really
I've
does.
always been very insecure about my lyrics, to be honest with you, because I'm not a reader. You know, it's usually just straightforward, simple stuff. It's borderline cliche, you might say, but you know, I grew up. Well, I didn't grow up, but at one point I was amongst the likes of Elvis Costello, Nick Lowe, and Chris Difford.
Yeah.
These guys are sharp, you know, they've got an angle on stuff and they're original. Whereas I always think my stuff is like, it's almost like you've heard it before. But you know what I mean? But anyway, hopefully, I think the thing is, if you do have a simple sentiment and an honest sentiment, and it's delivered, you know, well, then it will strike home.
Yeah.
You know,
In the cold light of day, the song we played earlier on as well. John hadn't heard that,
No,
and I heard it. And I said to John, I said, "You haven't heard this one?" I said, "I'm going to play this one," and that's a very much like it's like a
big brass and big band, and it just grooves along. It's lovely.
Well, I'm not surprised you didn't hear it, because in the past, you know, with can I mention Radio 2 or
You
not?
can mention Radio 2. You can mention.
But I mean,
what you like.
We always used to have incredible support. You know, every album I put out, there'd be 2 or 3 songs at least make it onto the playlist.
Yeah.
And I did this album a couple of years ago called These Days, which the song you're talking about is on that album.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was getting the word, listen, it's all changed down there. You know, it's they got this agenda now. They're ticking all these various boxes, and it's not. You know, basically, I didn't fit suddenly. It was, and I seemed to get the proper cold shoulder.
Really?
You know, because it was like, and it's a good album. It's a good album. I mean, I've got Steve Gadd, Robbie McIntosh. These guys on it, you know.
They're proper players, aren't they? Yeah, Steve Gadd,
Yeah, absolutely.
Robbie. Yeah.
It's all changed at the BBC, though. You know, I mean, we can talk about the music side of the BBC, and I mean, I won't go deep into things, but it has all changed. That they're not kind of it seems to become an age limit.
Yeah.
There's an age limit of it's wrong.
It's a bit like when we were all younger. It's like listening to your dad. You know, it all moves on, doesn't it? You know, and
you can kind of understand. They're getting paranoid about, you know, their audience is getting old, so they want to try and attract a younger demographic.
Yeah.
But the thing is, those kids don't listen to the radio anymore.
No,
they don't.
So,
and Doreen Davies ain't there anymore, is she? She was the Radio 1 plugger. She was the head of BBC. Oh, yeah.
She was brilliant.
She was a nightmare.
She was brilliant, though. You got to give her credit. As she ruled the roost.
Yeah,
she ruled the roost. But moving on to another.
Funny enough, though, let me just say that they've on this one. That's their record of the week.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So from not playing the last album at all, I think I might have got a foot back in the door. We'll see.
Yeah. So,
I hope so.
So where are you in the scheme of things with the new album? Because it's not yet completed, is it?
It's not quite finished, but it will be. I've given myself a deadline, and we want to get it out in the summer, in June.
Right. Yeah.
And so I'm like I said, this is the hard bit now. When you've done it on your own, just getting it over the line and getting it sounding like a proper record. It's easy in the beginning, but I'm going to get there, and I am really pleased with how it's turned out. So, you know, I'm looking forward to.
Is there any chance of us playing it? Be one of the first to play your new album?
Of course there is, mate. You
just send it over to me, my email address, mate, and I'll be playing that. We'll have a feature night of a Paul Carrack release night. We will do that, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
we'll definitely do that.
Yeah.
Go on, John, you died to ask.
No, I was just saying,
dying to ask.
there's only
Paul
one more
about-
question that's
You
always,
died to ask.
is the Jim Capaldi, the writing of Love Will Keep Us Alive. and Pete Val. I mean, I'm not. Is that was that in the UK? You done it, or was that when you in America when you?
No, it was in the UK. What happened was when the Eagles, sort of mid '90s, they kind of split up. It went a bit wonky. They'd fallen out. Or two of them.
Joe Walsh.
No, I don't think so. I think it was. I'm not going to.
No, I know you mean.
Be careful what I say.
Yeah, I know you mean.
So they weren't working, even though there were, massive offers of money for them to get back together and all that. But I got a call from Don Felder, who was the guitar player. Mm-hmm. He's actually not anymore, but he was then. And he said that he and Timothy Schmidt, who's the guy with the very high voice, and at this point, Joe Walsh, wanted to do something. They wanted to make a record and do some shows and stuff like that, and they wanted me to be involved. So I went over and I stayed with Felder over to California several times. I went over there, and we were writing songs and recording them. And people were getting a bit excited. But one of the songs I took with me was a song that, as you say, was written this guy Peter Vale, the late Jim Capaldi, and myself. We wrote that song together. I mean, I think Jim came up with the title, "Love Will Keep Us Alive," and Pete fleshed it out a little bit and the tune, and I pitched in with some lyrics and. And I took that song over to this to the States, and I was singing it with Felder and Timothy, and everyone was getting excited. And then, to cut a long story short, the Eagles decided to get back together, and that was the end of that project. But a few weeks after, I got this call from Timothy saying, "Listen, how about if I sing that song on the Eagles album? I need a song."
Right.
And they want to do it, and he did it, so it was fantastic. It was great.
Fantastic.
That was a cracking song.
I know. It's fantastic. Well, Paul, all I can say is that, when's this new album going to be available?
Well, June, basically. I think the plot is we're going to release a couple of singles at least.
Yes.
And by then, I think we have to deliver it in sort of April. To get a June release. Yeah. So there'll be a single, at least one more single, and I'll send you a copy.
Wonderful,
Sure.
Paul.
Will you keep in touch anyway? And
Paul, what I was going to ask you, it's a bit pushy, but this year we're celebrating 25 years. Now, I'll talk to you near the time if you're not doing anything, but we are trying to. It'd be wonderful if you could do a certain kind of. I don't know how far away you live, Paul, but it'd be wonderful if we could all get together and celebrate 25 years with Paul Carrack. That'd be fantastic.
When is that going to be?
August Bank Holiday.
August Bank Holiday,
but we hope, well, hopefully you won't be, because you're touring, in a matter of speaking. That's being truthful, back on the road. But it'd be wonderful if you can do something towards the Phoenix FM 25 years, and it'd be wonderful. I'm just in awe of talking to you, Paul. I really am. No, I really am, Paul, because it's been an absolute honour to talk to you. And you're such a big thing. You're a big thing in my life. Also, millions and millions of people out there, and of course, John as well. Because John, if you saw John's band, he's a session guy as well. He plays with loads of his own band, and he does love doing a bit of Paul Carrack, don't you? You do, didn't you? Eyes are blue. I know what you're like. Yeah, but Paul, I can't thank you enough, Paul. I'm going to play a song, One in a Million, Paul.
Oh, yeah.
And all I can say is that, Paul Carrack, you've been an absolute gentleman. From me, Keith Paul, and
me, John Summerton. Thanks, Paul. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you once again, Paul.
All right, mate.
I'll be in touch. Thank you.
Okay. Ta-da.